All right, so today we are going to look at a basketball drill named the 1 minute passing drill. And this is a really good drill to work on cutting and also to work on moving the basketball, swinging the basketball from side to side. It's a great drill that I like to start practice with to get the athletes moving consistently, getting them to communicate, right? Getting them to work as a team, and just finding more creative ways to get the athletes warmed up. And if you're a young team kind of preaching ball movement, this is a great drill. Okay, so what we're going to have is two lines here, one line on each side, foul line extended. And we're basically going to have the athletes cut to look for the basketball and then swing the ball from side to side. Okay, so let's just say we had the ball starting here on the right side with number 5. Okay, we're going to have number 1 cut, okay, into the key, pop out, receive the basketball. Okay, we're going to swing or pass the ball here to number 1. Okay, and what number 1 is immediately going to do is swing the basketball to number 2. So when number 1 receives that pass from number 5, they're going to swing the basketball to number 2. Okay, now number 1 is going to fill the back of this line, and now number 5 is going to go and do the exact same thing after they made that first pass. They're going to cut into the key, pop out, receive the pass, right, and swing it to the other side, right? We're now going to fill that line, and number 2 is going to do the same cut. Okay, they're going to receive the basketball, they're going to swing. Okay, we're going to have obviously these guys move up in the line a little bit, right? They're going to swing, they're going to fill a spot. Right now, we're going to have the opposite line do the same, cut in, pop out, receive the ball, and swing. Okay, so basically, with this, what we want to teach here with this cut is, if you have a defender on you and they're guarding you, right, you're going to kind of plant your foot, push off, right, and that's how you're going to receive the basketball, right? And we also want to preach here kind of swinging from side to side, right? Swing the basketball from side to side. That's going to be the key for ball movement. Okay, so in addition to that, the formation of the drill, what we're going to do here is put 1 minute on the clock, right? After we kind of run through the drill a couple times, or your players kind of get the understanding of the drill, we're going to put 1 minute on the clock, and we're going to see how many passes we can receive as a team in 1 minute. So coach will put 1 minute on the timer, right? And the athletes then have to count as a team how many passes are received. Okay, so if number 3 receives this pass, that's 1, right? They're going to swing the ball. That's 2. It's just 2 passes received, right? We're going to fill a line. Number 7 cuts in and out, right? We're going to count this as a pass, right? We're going to swing the ball. We're going to count this as a pass. So we're continuously counting our passes, right? And this is a really good way to do this because it gets the athletes engaged, right? It might be a simple passing drill like this that kind of bores some players, but to start practice, to get them to count, to kind of count their passes in 1 minute while working on these ball movement things like cutting and swinging the basketball, it's a good way to keep things fresh and keep it competitive, right? Maybe they have to, challenge their score and do better in the second time or break a new record, whatever that may be. It also gets the players communicating, right? It gets them talking, it gets them speaking, which is what you want with a drill like this, to work on as many things as you can. So that is the 1 minute passing drill. Really good way to start practice and get things kicked off on a good note. All right, so today we are going to be looking at a drill named the 4-line passing drill. And with this drill, basically what we're going to be looking at is how to move the ball in a motion offense, right? We want to move the ball consistently, right? We want to show that when we pass, we're going to move. When we get to the paint, we're going to kick it out, right? So we're basically kind of going over those fundamentals of a motion offense, right, before we introduce it to a motion offense. Or maybe you're teaching motion offense to your team. You want some drills to work on that motion. Well, this is great. So this one, like I said, is called the 4-line passing drill. And basically what we're going to look at here is a paint touch, right? So we're going to be looking at a drive inside the paint here in the middle of the floor. Okay, we're also going to be looking at a pass that's a kick to the corner, right? So we want to kind of imagine that maybe there's a double team in the paint, and we're going to kick it out to some corner players. And we're also going to look at a swing pass. So, some people call this like a one more pass. We want to add one more pass onto a sequence, or a swing pass, swing from one side of the floor to the other. So we're going to add that in there as well. Okay, so this is called the 4-line passing drill. So the first thing that we're going to have to start is we're going to get a paint touch into the paint, right? So number 1 is going to drive into the paint. And the next thing they're going to do, maybe they can get a little bit further, is they're going to kick to the corner. Okay, so we're going to kick it right here to the corner. As that happens, they're going to go fill this spot. Now, number 3, who's in the corner, right? They are going to swing it, right? So number 3, you're going to swing it right here, okay? And number 3 is going to come in and take this spot, okay? For the next person in line, if we have anybody else in line, they would be lined up here where number 1 started. So now we're going to have that same thing happen. Number 2 is going to drive to the paint, right? They're going to get that paint touch, and then they are going to kick it to the corner. They're going to go fill this line. Number 4 is going to swing up here, and then number 4 will go to the back of this line. And we're going to repeat that sequence over and over. Number 5 gets into the paint, right? They're driving hard paint with the basketball, right? They're going to kick to the corner, fill the spot, right? We're going to swing, right? Fill the spot. Then we're going again. We're going to drive, get a paint touch. Number 3 is driving with the basketball, right? They are going to kick corner, right? They're going to fill that spot. We're going to get a swing up here, and we're going to fill the back of the line. So that's basically consistently what we're doing is you're driving to the paint, kicking to the corner, right, swinging the basketball. If we look at a little bit faster pace, right, so we'll kind of go now as if we're going live. Number 6 here, they're going to kick it out, right? They're going to fill the spot as that's happening, right? We got, maybe we can move this person to the three-point line. We're going to get our swing, right? We're going to drive to the paint, right? Get our paint touch. We're going to kick. All right, we're going to fill the back of the line. We're going to swing. All right, we're going to fill the back of the line. Then we're continuously moving. So that's basically the rundown on this drill, the 4-line passing drill. It's not, too difficult to learn. It's a great warm-up for your team, right? We look at these active warm-ups all the time, and, a lot of times we'll waste 5 to 10 minutes on, these active warm-ups where we're, making 10 layups and going through the motions and doing this and doing that. Well, if you are in the middle of teaching a motion offense or really trying to enforce ball movement on your team, right, this is a great drill to start practice, get the athletes moving, because you're enforcing those motion offense ball movement concepts and, kind of making it muscle memory to, hey, when I drive to the paint right here and I see 2 defenders or, maybe I see, an open player on a wing, right, I'm going to, kick it out to them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kick it to the wing, right? If I'm a wing player and maybe I see, right here is a player that's more open than I am or a better 3-point shooter, I'm going to kick that, or I'm going to swing that basketball here for a better 3-point shot, right? So it's really just enforcing those concepts on your players. Hold on one quick second, coaches. Before you go anywhere, I've got a couple free resources waiting for you from the Basketball Coaches Academy that'll take your practices and take your teams to the next level. First off, grab your complete guide to the continuous motion offense, which breaks down exactly how to teach your players to play the game, not just run plays. You'll learn what continuous motion offense really means, proven drills to build it, and how to run a motion offense continuously. We have lots of different things in this guide. We have video demonstrations, we have diagrams, we have descriptions, everything that you would need. If you want your athletes to develop real basketball IQ, this is the starting point. The second item that I have for you is the 5 must-have out-of-bounds plays for all ages. These are game-tested sets that you can run with youth or high school teams. We have baseline out of bounds. We have sideline out of bounds, all free for you. They're simple to teach, tough to guard, and each play includes clear diagrams and coaching points so your team stops wasting possessions. And lastly, I have the practice plan template. This printable practice plan template is the exact layout that I use to organize and plan every practice session. So you can plug in your warm-ups, skill blocks, team drills, and scrimmage notes so you can walk into every gym with a clear plan and 0 guesswork. So I have these 3 free items for you. You can claim them using the link in the description. They'll be sent to you right away. Enjoy. Okay, so for this basketball drill, we're going to have 2 lines above the 3-point line. Each line can have 2 to 3 athletes. We want the basketballs in both of these lines. So as we can see, we have a line here, this side on the right side, and a line here on this side on the left side. Now, what we're going to be working on is passing and cutting, right? Passing and cutting. That's going to be, the consistent thing that we're working on here. Okay, so let's say we start this drill with this line on the right side. Now, it's important that, this is one of those drills where it's going to be continuous movement, right? It's going to be continuously moving. We're moving. There isn't really a lot of stopping here on this play. Okay, so we want to work on passing and cutting, but we also want to work on paint touches. Okay, so we can kind of have this person outside the 3-point line if we're dealing with an older team. If we're dealing with a younger team, you might want to move them in a little bit.
Okay, maybe these lines can also move over here a little bit more. Maybe we have them a little bit too wide to start. Okay, so we're going to start with number one who has the basketball. And what number one is going to do is they're going to drive hard to the basket. Now we want to force the idea of getting a paint touch. Now it depends how high you want to put this wing player. So we put them right here, right? We want to enforce the idea of getting a paint touch, right? That's what we want. If we're working on, continuous movement and continuous motion, and even though this is, kind of a warm-up style of a drill, we still want to implement those strategies. Okay, we attack the paint, we force, defensive, we force the defense to collapse off of our penetration, and that is how we get the ball moving on a 5-out motion offense. We want to, enforce those principles. So number one is going to cut hard to the key, right? They want to get, as close to a paint touch as possible. And then they're going to kick the ball out, and they're just going to run a basic give and go, right? They give to, number 7 in this line, and then they receive the ball back. And then number one is going to go up for a layup after receiving the basketball, okay? Now, as number one goes up for that layup, number 7 here is following their pass, and they're getting the rebound, okay? After number one goes up for that layup, they're going to continue moving, and then they're going to fill this wing. Okay, number 7 gets the rebound. They're dribbling back to the back of the line with the basketball. Okay, ball goes to the front of the line again. And now we run the exact same play, the exact same drill over here on this side of the floor. Number 4 is going to cut to the basket hard. They're going to get that paint touch, or at least, attempt to get a paint touch. Then we want to, hypothetically, have a situation here where the defense would collapse, so we kick it out. Number 4 continues to cut. They have their hands up for a target, looking for the basketball, right? It's a big important thing. We want to even work on the little things, the smaller fundamentals, right? We have our hands up. We look for the basketball. Number 1 is going to give the ball back to number 4. Number 4 goes up for that layup. Number 1 is following the pass. Number 4 continues to move. They fill this side, right? Number 1 is getting the rebound, and then they're filling the back of this line. So number 1 comes to the back of this line with the basketball. Basketball's over here now. Now we're reset. So as you can see, it's continuous movement. Number 2, right? They're getting that paint touch. They're going to kick the ball out. They're going to look for the ball back. They're going to receive it, right? Number 2 is going to go up for the layup. Number 4 is going to follow their pass. Number 2 goes up for the layup, right? They're continuously moving. They're then filling this line. Number 4 is getting the rebound. They're going to the back of this line, right? My lines are kind of getting messed up here, but you understand what we're looking at. So overall, we have, our continuous movement, right? We're basically, the whole drill is just steady go, steady go, steady go. We're not really slowing down at all. We're not really stopping. We're continuously moving. So it's achieving, 1, a warm-up, right? We're warming up our team. But also number 2, right, we're working on passing and cutting. We're working on, something that will be essential to a continuous movement, to a continuous motion offense, which is we penetrate the defense, we force them to collapse, we kick the ball out, we look for the ball back, we have our hands up for a target, right? It's a continuous movement. And even though, it is just a warm-up drill, it sets the tone for the rest of the practice. It sets the tone for what we want to achieve, which is continuous movement on the offensive end.
Okay, so let's take a look at this drill. So we're going to start right here with a line of players, and these players are going to start with the basketball in their hand. So as we can see here, we have number 1 with the basketball, number 2 with the basketball, number 3 with the basketball. So these players are starting with the basketball. Now here in this position, number 6, again, the numbers don't really matter. I'm just using those to label each player. But number 6 here, the person in this spot, they are standing under the basket in a rebounder's position. So they're going to be rebounding the basketball. Here, number 4 and number 5, they're going to be the players that will be swinging the basketball from side to side, adding that one more pass. So those 2 players are going to be the players that are really focusing on moving the basketball, right? That one more philosophy. You want to preach to your players one more. Always make that extra pass when there is the opportunity to do so. So if you can make that extra pass, if you can make that one more pass, you do it, right? So how this is going to start, number 1 right here with the basketball, they're going to drive with the basketball to the paint and get a paint touch. So they're going to drive about right here with the basketball. Okay, so the biggest thing that we want to focus on when we're teaching our offense, especially with this particular drill, is it has to start with a paint touch. Now, generally speaking, in an offensive setting, if your paint touch comes from a cut or a drive or a pick and roll, whatever that may be, as long as you get that paint touch, you're able to get your offense moving because you're able to get the defense to collapse, right? So we want to get the offense moving by having a paint touch. And here's what this drill is going to preach, right? We get in the paint. So number one gets in the paint right now. And number one then is going to pass the ball out to number four. So they are mimicking a situation where maybe number four's defender leaves them and comes on to number one to run a double team in the key. So number one is passing the ball to number four. And what number four is going to do then is they're going to make that extra pass, that swing pass over here to number five. Okay. So now we're set up like this. We have the ball swung from side to side. Now, in terms of the players that are passing the ball, they're going to follow their pass. So number one is going to follow their pass, and they're going to come to this spot. And number four is going to follow their pass, and they're going to come then to this spot. What number five is then going to do is attack the basket for a layup. Okay? If you want, with your team, if you want to, focus on swinging the ball from side to side and getting an outside jump shot, that's okay too. You can have number five shoot the basketball. But for the sake of this drill right now, we'll just say that number five is going to attack and go up for a wide open layup. Okay, so after number five goes up for that layup, they're then going to take this spot in line. And number six, the rebounder spot, they are going to get the rebound. Okay, after number six gets the rebound, they're going to do a full court sprint, pushing the basketball up all the way down here and attacking the basket for a layup. So number six is moving down, they're attacking this basket for a layup, and then the drill will reset. Number six will come back here to the back of the line, right? And now number two will run the same process. They're driving to the paint, right? Number two is driving to the paint. They're going to pass the basketball over here to number one, right? Number one swinging it to number four, and now number four will drive to the basket. But like I said, if you want to preach, swinging that basketball and getting an outside jump shot, you can do that as well.